it feels so good to be able to watch Total Divas on a DVR because I get to watch it in like 20 minutes. Because of all those freaking musical interludes that I get to skip, it's like, all right, you showed me the arch. I know it's St. Louis. You don't need to show me anything else. I know it's St. Louis. Give me the people talking. Brie tried to sing. She's not very good. Nikki was like, I'm a far better singer because I'm great at everything that's ever happened ever. And then she tried to sing, and it was also not very good. But they're highly competitive. And I got to skip through a lot of that because I'd like to see them talk about wrestling. Paige is out filming the movie with The Miz. She's out with her boyfriend, and some woman talked with him and took like a selfie and stuff. And he was like, all right, whatever. And the fact that he introduced her as Paige, now, I'm hot with my girlfriend, we can do a picture, that's cool. So then she got in her head that, maybe he does this stuff when she's not around. And then Rosa, who's been treated like a welcome mat by the majority of the male gender, was like, here's what I did. So they concoct a plan where Rosa takes out her boyfriend, Paige's boyfriend, for dinner. And then they have Rosa leave and have some other random girl just kind of like hit on him. And he was like, no, I'm cool. And then Paige decides to be like, oh yeah, that was all just like a game we were playing. I wanted to know if I could trust you. Yeah. These are the moments when you realize that she is I think at the time, she just turned 23, so that she is a 22-year-old girl. And he mentioned he waited 7 years for someone like her. I'm like, I can understand. I spent like a decade not dating anybody until I met my wife. So I can understand the idea of waiting till you found that right person. Totally get that. That's cool. That was interesting. Put on because now I get to know what she looks like in the movie Santa's Little Helper. She's gonna be a villain. So Paige is an evil elf. So, an evil English elf. Okay. And by far, the absolute coolest part of this entire week's episode. So make Natty feel old. Natty, at the time of this video, is 33 years old. Right now I'm 35. My 30s were quite rough. Because when the asthma came back, it was when my knees started to get blown out again. I have issues with that. There was, the cancer thing, wife getting pregnant, daughter draining the ever-loving energy out of me. So I'm well aware that the 30s can be a very, very rough time. But she's a professional athlete. At the time of the shooting, she was 32, which I think she's like 33 now. I think Layla retired at 36. So I do think that when it comes to the Divas time, like their life expectancy or shelf life, quote unquote, isn't as long as that of a man. A lot of that is because, if Nay decides that she would like to have a family with Tyson, that's going to take a year out of her career. There are lots of other things that she might want to do instead. There's a good chance that she might want to take a step back and become a trainer for the next generation, which would be awesome. She'd be phenomenal as a trainer. So there's a lot of other things that happen on a woman's side that just makes it probably a little more difficult to be a professional wrestler until you're in your 50s. There are a few that can do it. Oh yeah, easily. But there aren't that many female Ric Flairs. It is a hard, grueling business, and it breaks down everyone's body. It's just the nature of the game. But then she tried to be like hip and cool, and she came off so weird. I was like, aww. Yeah, he's trying to be cool and hip. How's I don't try to do that sort of stuff because I know I look weird. The benefit of being a father is I can wear dad pants and be like, that's right, I'm rocking dad pants because I'm a dad. Sure, I've been rocking them for like almost 20 years now, but I have the right to rock them now. I'm a dad. DAD, dad. But anyways, the coolest part of the show had to be you're out at a club, and Maddie's outside. She's having a small mental break. She's like, I feel old. I feel like I can't do this anymore. Probably something there's a bunch of 20-year-olds showing up all of a sudden, and then Naomi's like, hey, it's cool. You're gonna be fine. You're freaking Natalia Neidhart. This is who you are. This is what you were born and bred to do in this business. This is you. Sure, you've only had one Divas Championship run. You're probably not going to have another one unless the Bellas retire and they need somebody to fill in the gap for a little bit and really help train some of the next generation and be that person to pass the torch, which she kind of did when she took on Charlotte at NXT for the NXT Women's title. But this dude comes out. No idea. He looks almost like he's probably Mongolian. Who's bald. He's like, shut up, you're stupid. Your problems suck. And Tamina gets in his face and is like, from I was like, oh, Tamina gonna kill him? Tamina gonna take him to Superkick City. It's right next to Suplex City. They're sister cities. And then she gets in Natty's face and she's like, Natty. And she's holding her. And then she realizes that Tamina is a big girl. She's like, Natty, you don't let anybody tell you that you can't do something. I was like, wait, where's this Tamina and on the roster? I was like, Tamina as the big person who's there to stand up for the little guy, and that's legitimately a character trait. They tried to do that with Sheamus when he was like, I bro kick bullies. Could you imagine what she could do? Someone does, the standard like internet shaming of somebody, and Tamina could just be like, no, I will break you. Tamina is the one that when the Miz is running down women, you put a match where it's Tamina and Miz, and you have Tamina whoop the daylights out of the Miz. And that's how you get her over. She's the one that, if a guy's making snide comments, I don't care if it's JBL or if it's Jerry the King Lawler, you have Tamina put that guy physically in his place. Done. A superstar is born. Period. You could take any of the guys who are like lower in the card, who need something to do. You have jobs with Tamina.